It's time to finish the game. Let's go.
Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cut back lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown Seahawks. What a run by Sean Alexander.
Finish the game. We gonna finish the game. Yeah. Finish the game. We gonna finish the game.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sean Alexander. You hear the music. Welcome to Finish the Game. We're finally here. Claude Jennings, producer extraordinaire. What's up, my brother?
Sir. What you are hearing now is not a promo. It's not a test.
That's right.
It's the real deal.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
That's right.
We're finally here. Gosh, I'm so excited. We're finally here. You all are listening to Finish the Game. Gosh, we've been working on this project for a couple of months now. Finally here.
Right, yeah. I mean, a lot of hard work going into it, from studio build-outs to all kind of recordings and promos and corporate stuff, all kind of things. But it's here, and we're just ready to get going and just presenting Finish the Game to everybody. Yeah. And I think it's going to be really, really, really beneficial and a huge asset to everyone who listens. So,
you know what, Claude, before we start, I want to thank you, brother, for taking this venture with me. Finish the Game is basically going to be a way, a path, a vision of light, a voice for you all to just kind of help you all finish this thing called life.
Yeah, lots in that title, you know what I mean, to finish the game. I mean, Sean, you've got experience on that football field where it's 4th and 1 or it's right at the goal line and somebody's got to get the ball.
Who gets the ball? Well, gosh, we want you all to answer the question to that and to let the answer be you.
And not only that you want to get that you get the ball, but that you want that ball.
Yeah.
When the pressure is on, when decisions need to be made in different areas of life, that you're confident to say, you know what, give me the ball, I got this.
I'm gonna finish the game.
That's
it. Well, so I guess to let you all know, Finish the Game is going to basically have 4 to 5 topics as you guys get to hear, and then some will be heavy on, and some will be light. But I guess to start off, one of the topics we will probably dabble into on and off is, family and fatherhood. I mean, I don't know if all y'all know, but I got 8 kids.
So something about fatherhood.
I'm going to tell y'all how to run away. I mean, not run away, but pray for them children. It's going to be a little bit of that, and whether it's the simple facts of watching your kids grow up or the simple facts of how to handle your parents that are going nuts. Because believe me, I've been on both sides, I even think of, one of the stories of with my little girl, she's in that I'm 9 and I don't really want to listen to anything.
Right.
Well, goodness, sweetie, I got to finish. I got to do my first show and you over here just not paying attention.
Yeah.
How do you handle that as a parent, working and still wanting to love your kids and be there for your kids and discipline and correct your kids? I said she and I said 9, but I got 5 daughters. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. So,
but that's huge though, because a lot of people, I mean, fatherhood and I imagine motherhood too, can
definitely
be a scary thing for folks who, whether you're a parent for the first time, you're trying to raise your kids, it's like there's no manual on how to do it. And so you sharing some tips can also be a big encouragement, I think, to a lot of people, especially for a lot of men now who are raising kids and they themselves never had a father.
And we are in that generation.
Yeah, they don't have anyone to kind of, look at as an example. And now they're thrust into fatherhood, and so many guys do run. I mean, I'm hoping we get some guys who listen to this program who ran away from the responsibility, but now want to come back.
That's right.
We like restoration and things like that. We want guys who want to come back and be dads and want to help you do it.
Yeah, and you know what? As we get to going with that, and we'll have tons of times to talk about these and tons of stories, I want to give everybody a little nugget. Try not to ever use fear or guilt to motivate your kids.
Wow.
Always use truth and love.
Wow.
Now, truth is, you might get punished. You might have some discipline. That rod of correction might have to show up. But we're not going to use the rod to promote fear or guilt or shame.
Right.
And sometimes that rod could be your mouth. That tongue could bring a lot of guilt and shame on a child. And really the truth is a child just wants to be loved, and a child really does want to be corrected. And some children, I got 4 brothers older, what I mean? They need a little more correction. I ain't gonna call my own self out. They need a little more correction.
Right.
And that's okay. Let them be them, and you love them into the correction with truth, love, consistency. let's not use fear and guilt manipulation to try to do that. So, we got finished the game going on here, and that's just one of the topics. And in a role like that, and of course, a second topic that we're going to always hit on is, sports.
Right.
AKA a little bit of that football. We're going to get into that.
You got the Alabama polo on right now.
I'm rocking Bama right now, and I'm going to let y'all know I'm going to be biased. It's not going to be one of them shows where I'm trying to give everybody equal share. There's only one school that I'm going to cheer for when they playing against that Crimson and Tide.
Now look, in studio, you've seen these pictures, guys. He's got the Alabama polo on, but we've got the luxury, recliner Seattle Seahawk chair.
Yeah, the guest Hawk chair. I'm going to be biased. I'm just going to let y'all know, but you know what? I am going to speak truth.
That's
right.
What
I mean? I am going to speak truth. It's really cool because a lot of you Bama folks you always ask the same question every year. Who's going to be the starting quarterback?
So I know you've got the inside info.
I do, and I've got a favorite. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
you want to know who it is?
Are you going to let us know?
I cannot let you know. I cannot let you know who my favorite is. But you know what? It's going to be fun to talk about it with all you all, and there's going to be tons of times where y'all going to call in and we going to battle. And Auburn, I know that you all don't really know how to use the phone that well, but if you get an Alabama friend or somebody to come and show you how to dial the buttons or even show you how to push things, then I'll answer your calls too. It's going to be great. And, of course, we will talk about Seahawk football. Yeah. We will talk about NFL. I won't be as biased with the NFL, because, I do love the Seahawks, but I did get to rock some of that hail to the Redskins
for
the
burgundy
year.
And gold. All right.
And, that burgundy and gold, it felt good. I ain't going to lie. It did feel good about here.
Right.
And I actually got to here's a trivia question. I got to retire with two of the captains of Alabama's 1999 SEC championship team, which I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. And there was two other guys, Chris Samuels, left tackle, my good friend, and then Cornelius Griffin, he was a big D tackle for Bama, and played a little bit for the Giants and then came over here to Redskins. All three of us got to start our careers playing in Alabama, and then all went to the pros, and we all got to end our careers together. It was a beautiful thing, So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And I mean, I know you love the NFC East,
right?
What I mean?
I'm a huge Cowboys fan, so we'll have a chance to kind of get into it. This season.
You got Cowboys. I love the Redskins. Of course they don't compare to my Seahawks. But right. I got friends with the Eagles, and and it's gonna be on
needless
this year.
to say, during football season, it's going to be a packed show. I mean, with tons of guests and things like that, and just overall analyzing college football, NFL, mixed in with some of the other topics we're talking about.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time talking about the MVP of the year, and kind of MVP weekends, what I mean, and stuff like that. That's going to be fun, top to bottom, what I mean? And so, so of course, so I'm telling family and fatherhood. Another topic will be sports and football, even basketball. We talk about who's going to be the NBA champions, so that's all going to be fun. We'll get into that a little bit more. But, a third level topic that we're going to talk about is leadership, teamwork, the power of team, and I'll get to introduce to you all and have some Q&As with some of the greatest influential people and great business successful minds in the world. I think of, Dan Cathy at Chick-fil-A and my buddy Michael over there. What's up, Mike? I also think of my good friend Andre up at American Express. I got a meeting up there with them in New York, and of course, all the people in the NFL, everybody knows Roger Goodell, the commissioner, but, one of my good friends who was actually the president of Seahawks football, Todd Lewicki, he is now, one of the big guys up there with the NFL and how they do branding and how they figure out what is the image of the NFL.
Right. Right.
It's going to be marvelous conversations and marvelous things to make people think and kind of figure out what it is they need to do to go be somebody of great value to somebody else's life.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great thing because it's almost like putting you in a boardroom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With some guys who are in these boardrooms making things happen just to get you in like the mindset of what goes on in there because some of us aren't privy, to that and how, these big corporations look to add value to people's lives. And I mean, those same principles we can adopt into our life.
That's right.
And not just that, but I mean, the whole thing is under the umbrella of teamwork.
Yeah.
And no one can get to any certain level of success in life without a great team. Life is not an individual sport. And what's so funny about that is, we look at certain sports like, tennis and even golf, and people think that those are individual sports. But you hear guys like Jordan Spieth already refer to his team, my people, my team, that even those things that we think are individual sports are team sports, from trainers to managers to the athletes to all these people putting in work. Even NASCAR, they talk about the pit crew, all these people putting in work to try to build something successful. Same thing with life.
It is. You know what? I think you get a family, it's going to take the mom, dad, and the children to make it success. You get friendships. You're going to have, brothers all getting together. And, how they had that such great time, that great moment in life. It was the team came together, and that's how it works. Of course, I'll talk for days and days and days about my offensive line in high school, my offensive line in college, my offensive line in the NFL. One of the few things that my dad really got to say to me was, when you get your guys and your teammates all working together, you make it look easy, and that's when you got it going on. Right. That's when you good. You know what I mean? When you're and so what's that take? It takes teamwork. I will pump up my offensive lineman in Seattle forever, and even to the point where people be like, "Man, Sean, we don't know if you that good." I'm not even going to say anything, but but I'm used to it. When I was in Bama, they would say the same thing. Yeah, Sean, you good, but your offensive line was probably amazing, And then when everybody wasn't sure where I was going to go to college, they were like, we don't know if he's going to be any good. His high school offensive line was amazing. Hey, once again, it's teamwork.
Right.
I don't mind pumping them up if I do so well and it makes everybody else look really, really good.
If pumping them up still gonna get you to that 2020 club.
Bam. Bam. Only 3 or 4 of us has done it. You know what I mean? Hey, I don't mind. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, but it all goes back to teamwork, and it's beautiful. One of the things about team and leadership that I'm going to be excited about is introducing y'all to some of my great mentors from Bill Milliken, who runs community and schools, and it's 1.4 million kids are part of what started as this inner city sidewalk schoolhouse, just to teach kids and get the community all involved in helping kids learn how to study and give themselves a shot at learning more, growing more, getting better at life. And Bill back in the 60s realized, here's a guy from Pittsburgh. I don't hold that against him. You don't want to. You got a guy from Pittsburgh that said, man, he's looking around in the inner cities of New York, and he's realizing there's going to be a problem with education in about 40 years because this is not set up for families to all get involved with the kid's life. It takes a community to raise a child. And so here you got this young white man from Pittsburgh going to New York with a bunch of his buddies to go and train kids, and it's just spread all over this country. And and the last famous one was Derrick Henry, nice. Running back for Alabama, Heisman. You pop your collar, Bama Heisman. But he was a community and schools kid, out of Florida, and so it's going to be cool to talk about Bill, like how he started that idea, and some of my other mentors all across. I think of some of you golfers will probably know of Eric Anderson. You probably don't know him, but he's the guy that's the founder and owner of this thing that he thought, well, what if I could have kind of like a bowling alley atmosphere with golfing. Top golf. That's what it is. Yeah. So, so shout outs to my mentor, Eric Anderson. I can't wait to see him and talk to him. He's like, yeah, Sean, I got this thing I'm starting. It's going to be like Top Golf. And, and you go there and you can golf, or you can listen to music, or you can hang out. And I'm like, oh, that's a great. Even the idea of how they interview for jobs. Mm-hmm. They just bring a bunch of people in and they turn on music and everybody just mingles. Right. They know what jobs everybody's going to have off of that. Wow. Okay. That's brilliant. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how I did. I brought everybody, turned some music on, and I said, Clyde, you're going to be the producer.
By the way, you're listening to the Finish the Game podcast. I'm Claude Jennings. He's Sean Alexander. We're just having a good time with the first show, just kind of running down what this whole show is going to be about.
Yeah, and it's going to be awesome. I'm so thankful for everybody that's tuning in. We're going to have a fun time, and there's going to be times where you can come in and tweet, ask Sean, and ask some questions about life on any of these these topics. We've talked about fatherhood and family. We've talked about sports and football. We've talked about leadership and teamwork, and some of my mentors will come into play here, and some of the great leaders and some of the greatest businesses around here will all come into play. And one of the other topics that we're going to talk about is faith, Jesus, the church. We're going to have some church up in here. You know, it's going to be fun telling some inspirational stories about how your life can be changed with just one word. Some days I'm going to drop some great seeds of wisdom that's going to really inspire you to grow in Jesus. And some days it's going to really inspire you to grow in being the best you can be. Right. But that's one of the greatest things that you could ever do to somebody is give them that one word of encouragement, that one piece of knowledge, that one little nugget that could change their life forever. And, you know, I just had one earlier today.
Yeah, you were telling me about it. Tell everybody else about that.
Yeah.
And it's funny how those things happen. I mean, we're always throughout the day met with these moments, you know what I mean, that we didn't count on, that we didn't know were coming up, but they just kind of land right at our front door, so to speak, as it did with you.
It sure did. You know, God comes by and we have these Baxter bags where you can pick up stuff and you can haul off just to put them in your garbage can. And, you know, and the guy comes by and he's like, yeah, and I run out there and make sure everything is good. And he's picking the big bag up. I mean, he's got this big machine and it looks like he's got like a video game controller to move the thing. And he looks like he's having a good time. I'm having a good time. And I could tell like he wants to say something to me. And I was like, hey, how you doing, sir? And he's like, yeah, hey, you know, you guys came here before, you know, your wife was here. And you know, and I was like, yeah, you know, wife's, you know, my bride, she's awesome. You know, you know, and so, you know, so I didn't know where the conversation go, but I could tell like he wanted to say something. Right. And so I just like, yeah, so hey, I kind of made his job important. Hey, so do you do this everywhere? You know, he's like, oh yeah, I got from the bottom of Virginia all the way up through DC. I'm like, oh, that's, man, you drive. He's like, yeah, man, almost 300 miles. You know, I'm driving, I think he said a day. Oh my. He's on the road, you know what I mean? And so I said, wow, you know, and I could tell like that wasn't where the conversation wanted to end. And he said, hey, I want to show you something. So he pulls up his sleeve and it says, it's a big tattoo of a motorcycle. And he says, and it says, turn or burn. I said, I think I know what that means. He says, yeah, you know, he goes, I know you're one too, man. You're a believer also. I said, yeah, he goes, I knew because your wife was so nice. It made me think, wow, I bet you this family loves Jesus. And so then he said, yeah, he goes, I heard that you could talk about Jesus real well. And I said, I do sometimes, sir. And he said, good, man. If you ever want to come and talk to our bikers club, nice, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Okay. Right. Yeah, you know, so bikers. Hey, it's awesome, man. Like, you know, you look up and like everybody, the Jesus family is strong. And I think the thing is there's not enough people to encourage you to stand up for what you believe in. Not enough people to encourage you to fight the good fight, to finish the race, to stand on your convictions, to say no if you need to say no, to not go somewhere if you don't need to go somewhere. And we'll talk about all these things because, you know, carrying the great honor of carrying the badge of follower of Jesus is more than just going into a building. That's right. Yeah. And I love more than just 2 hours a week, you know, on a Sunday morning or Saturday morning or anything like that. No, it's a lot more than that. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And so it's going to be fun, just encouraging y'all time to walk that walk out with Jesus. And then some of y'all that don't know, just keep listening. You know what I mean? My job is not to convince you to love Jesus. My job is to share him with you. Right. And Jesus will convince you if he's ready, you know, and it's a beautiful walk and a beautiful run. And I apologize on first a bit that any of y'all that has been tried to bully to love Jesus, man, that is, I'm sorry about that. We'll make up, you know what I mean? We sorry for bullying y'all to love Jesus, but those of y'all that need to be stirred, the stirring will happen at times here, and it's going to be beautiful. No, absolutely. You know, one thing coming up for you this week is you're going to be inducted right into the Kentucky Hall of Fame, right? Is that coming up? Yeah, the Kentucky Hall of Fame. It's the Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, so it's all sports. So it's like all the great legends of Kentucky. You got Muhammad Ali that's sitting up in there strong. You know, he's the greatest. You know, and then he got a little nephew, Sean Alexander, standing beside him. You know, it's going to be pretty awesome. To be inducted into this thing. It's a great honor. You know, you've got great players and great athletes, you know, great, you know, jockeys and horse riding is big in Kentucky. But, you know, it goes clear across all sports and things like that. So it's a great honor. I'm so pumped to be a part of it. It's actually tomorrow.
Nice.
And it's going to be beautiful.
And we'll make sure we get some excerpts from the speech and all that kind of stuff to play it on the show, on the second show.
Yeah. So the second show is going to be live. We'll be live from Kentucky. Oh yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm so honored. So you know what? Actually, everybody that's a part of the Kentucky Athletic Hall of Fame, I thank you for the bottom of my heart. I'll see you tomorrow, and it's going to be beautiful. And thanks again. You know, there's nothing like my old Kentucky home. You know, and I don't take that for granted of being inducted into that great place.
Nice. Now, Sean, just one quick question, man. Like, you know, some people may be wondering, you know, what made you want to start this podcast? I mean, we talked a lot about what Finish the Game is about and some of the areas we're going to cover, but what is it that made you want to do this?
You know, it was a couple of things. You know, one of them was I was just watching some of my brothers in the NFL, and it's known, you know, almost 80% are broke, divorced. 2 years after they retire, almost 80% go through depression as soon as they retire. And I thought to myself, like, gosh, you know, even I wrestled with everything, you know, finances, your marriage, even, okay, what is my true identity? And I thought to myself, like, okay, well, how do you actually prepare for that?
Right.
How do we actually realize that football is going to end and there's seasons in life, and that this game of life is way bigger than just what's going to happen in your 20s and 30s, your teens, 20s and 30s, you know? And I just thought, man, if I ever had an opportunity to teach people what I've learned and also some of the great knowledge from some of my mentors, I would want to all show people how to finish the game.
Right.
And it just stuck.
Right.
I said, oh, that's what it is. We're gonna find some game finishers and then share them with the world. And that's what it's about, you know what I mean? I just don't want to see people lose the big game over a couple of seasons in their life.
Huge. That's so huge. So that's Finish the Game. This is the first show of many going through what the whole program is about. And basically, look, the 2005 NFL MVP helping us to be MVPs in life.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
What it's about.
It's it. You know what? It's going to be great. I tell everybody we're looking for some game finishers, and that's going to be kind of like our hot topic every week. You know what I mean? We're going to look for lives and people that are game finishers, and one day we hope that you too will be one that finishes the game.
You're listening to Finish the Game with Sean Alexander.